Hi all, this is Dr. J at 11 coming to you live, streaming live from Long Island, New York, where it was a nice, crisp, beautiful day today. The market didn't feel that way though. The market felt sick. It was sick. The Dow was down about 500 points at one point in time, and it managed to get back some of that, but not much. Well, I'll tell you, it doesn't make Dr. J happy. But at the same time, you can't give in to fear mongering. And there's been a lot of that going on lately with the markets. Let's see, what caused some of this weakness? We could blame China. No, we could blame the administration for the trade wars that we're having with China, with the EU. We can blame the Fed. Always good to blame the Fed, even though they're raising at such a snail's pace that you can hardly feel it. And the interest rates are not zooming up. But blame the Fed. They're in a raising cycle, so we might as well blame the Fed a little bit. What else can we blame? Weak dollar. Okay, blame the dollar. Cyber currency falling apart. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Blame that. I'm trying to think. What else can we blame? The technology stocks collapsing, the Amazon, Apples, and the Facebooks in a bear market. I got to admit that's true. They're all down 20% or more. However, the averages are not. They're not in a bear market. They're October 29th lows, Monday, October 29th, and all three major averages are holding, at least for now. And as long as they hold, what we see now is just increased volatility due to fear. And you can measure that fear by the VIX, which was up today. I don't remember how much, but the tvix was up about 12%. That's twice the VIX, two-time ETF. So we have fear. Fear causes gyrations in the Dow, in the NASDAQ, in the S&P to be exaggerated. So what would have been a 100-point decline is a 300-point decline, is a 400-point decline, is a 500-point decline. Expect a lot of volatility over the next few months as the Dow climbs to new highs before the real collapse. So my thinking is still unchanged, unwavering. Unless I see those lows of October 29th taken out, I hope not, I say the direction is up. The trend is reversed. We are going to go up from here and make new highs in the Dow, new highs in the NASDAQ, new highs in the S&P. I don't know about new highs in Apple, Amazon, and Facebook. They seem to have unique problems of their own. Oh yeah, what else spooked the market? Well, Apple alone spooked the market. I think there was an article in Barron's over the weekend. Barrons. People still read that? I guess so. Why bother when you could listen to Dr. J? The article implied that once upon a time, when Apple had a poor release of the iPhone and didn't meet expectations, the stock collapsed 30%. You know what that means? It means once upon a time, when Apple had a poor release of the iPhone, the stock fell 30%. That's all it means. No implication as to this time around. Every time around is different. Maybe last time around, I'm sure, but I think they were facing stern competition from Samsung, which had released phones that were at least as good, if not better. The Note 3 was a phenomenal phone. The early Galaxies were phenomenal phones. I don't see that competition today. As Warren Buffett said, I think I'm quoting him, iPhone is a bargain at $1,000 or whatever it costs. And I believe that's true. So I'm not worried about Apple. I'm not worried about Amazon. The fundamentals are great. Facebook, you can make the argument that only old fogies like me are still posting on Facebook, except I don't post on Facebook. But other old fogies like me might, and the younger generation, those under 30, are more Instagram fans. But you know what? Guess what? As Instagram soars, so does Facebook, because who owns Instagram, right? I don't post on Instagram either, but I think is it true that you have to sign in to your Facebook account or through Facebook in order to post on Instagram? I'm not sure if that's true or not. But in any event, they're getting the business one way or the other, Facebook. They're getting the ad revenues one way or the other. I'm not worried about Facebook in the long run. In the short run, it shows a lot of weakness. If we look at the chart, I do indicate, looking at the weekly, that the next likely strong support is much lower than where we are now at about 114, 115. Before we look at the charts together, do your own due diligence. Let me remind you that my opinions are strictly my own and do not constitute investment advice. What else? Please subscribe to the channel if you like my blog. Tell others about it. Share the link. Write some comments. I love your comments. Some of you kind of got me to admit that, hey, Amazon is showing a lot of weakness. How could I not admit it? It is showing a lot of weakness. And by the way, I have eliminated almost my entire position in Amazon. I'm holding on to a tiny little bit with the thought of taking a very wee loss in my purchase price on that tiny little bit. But as a whole, I've done very well on my Amazon trade, which was to the long side. As you recall, I bought at 1507, sold some at 1750. Sold some at 1650, sold some at 1625. I've been selling it as it goes down. Should have dumped it all at my 1750 original target, but sometimes Dr. J gets greedy. Plus, I have to admit, I have a soft spot in my heart for Amazon. I think it's a phenomenal company, phenomenal CEO, phenomenal expansion into all sorts of areas. It'll compete with everything. Prime is competing with Netflix. It has great original content. Prime, what else? It competes with Siri, right? Hey, you don't need Hey Siri when you have Echo Dot. What is it? Hey Alexa, or whatever you say. Alexa, tell me a joke. My grandchildren tell me jokes all the time from Alexa. I don't know if they understand them, but they sure enough repeat them. In any event, Amazon is into everything. It's hard to believe it started with music and then expanded to, well, it started with books and music, merchandise, you name it. Bought Whole Foods, just bought Ring. It seems like Amazon is everywhere, in every space. It's coming to town. It's coming to New York, coming to Long Island City, coming to Virginia. So there's going to be big expenditures on the part of Amazon to build these headquarters, hire these people to staff these headquarters. But knowing Jeff Bezos, not that I know him, but considering Jeff Bezos' track record, I'm not too worried. Facebook, I'm really not too worried. Apple, as I said, you can't say because last time it went down 30%, this time it's going to go down 30%. I don't know where it's going to stop, but it's probably before 30%. How's that? Probably, I don't know, might go down 25%. What do I know? But it doesn't have to go down 30%. It could go down 40%. It's just a number. So Barron spooked people. Apple did make a new low today, which is, I mean, from the top. It did take out its recent low. I think it also made a low on the 29th of October, which it took out. Well, let's look at the charts. Why just guess? All right, so let's share screen, look at the charts, discuss the charts a little bit, see if it changes any of my opinions. Sometimes I look at it a different way and I say, oh, maybe I wasn't quite right. Let's look at it together. Sharing screen now. It takes a couple of seconds. Let's look at left to right. We'll look at the S&P 500. Of course, I have a lot of screens open, which slows things down. So I guess I did a bit too much, and we got to pay the price as we wait for it to load. Well, it loaded. Okay, so the October 29th low looks quite safe here. Let's see, where did we close? Where did we hit the low on the 29th? That was 2603. Where we on Thursday we hit a higher low. Come on. 2670. And today's low was still higher at 26. So the S&P doesn't look terrible at all. In fact, we could probably draw a trend line from the low that shows an upward series of higher lows right here. So let's just draw a quick trend line. I don't know if anything is quick considering the slowness of my computer. I just clicked on draw and nothing happened. All right, you know what? I'm not going to draw a trend line, but you can see that we could draw a nice little trend line here. So we have this upward bias in the S&P. I think today's high volatility is just nothing more than high volatility. Tomorrow will be up the same amount, very easily, could be. All right, so now it's letting me draw. Let's see if I can draw it. Not very good. All right, good enough. I didn't get it perfect, but it's good enough. You get the idea. We have 3 touches of this trend line, which shows a clear sequence of higher lows. And I think we're going to climb this mountain. We're going to climb this slope. We're going to climb to the top. And we're not going to fall down. I mean, that's a bold call considering the weakness today. Dow Jones Industrial Averages. I clicked on it. Okay, while that loads, it gives me an opportunity to drink some water. Gulp. So we're way off the 9th. Let's see, on the 29th, the lows were 24, 122. I mean, Thursday's low, 24, 787, and today's low, 24, a rising sequence, just like we do in the S&P. And you could draw a similar trend line, which I'm not going to bother. But the Dow Jones looks remarkably like the S&P. We got A, B, C correction. So this is frightening, but that's so we may very well take this low. I wouldn't be upset as long as we don't take out the low of October 29th. So if we take, no big deal. It'll frighten us a little bit more, especially if it's another one of those 400-point moves. But as long as it make a new low here, fine. I think this is just a wave two down, which can be frightening. And then we'll start, which will take out the all-time high. So I'm still very, very bullish. I haven't changed my stance, even though some of you did admit that Amazon, my favorite, is in a funk. All right, Apple. All right, Apple. So lower lows and lower highs and is really looking weak. I hate to admit it because I've been buying into this falling knife. I started buying it at 202, 192, and 189. I resisted buying more today because my next purchase would be at about 180. So if I need to purchase more, I intend to purchase it because unless the Dow and the Nasdaq and the S&P do enter bear market, what I could do take out the lows of October 29th, in which case I will not be buying, I'll be selling. All right, Facebook, I don't even want to look at it. It's scary. The Nasdaq, let's look at the Nasdaq for a second. Look at Facebook, I shudder. The cliff. Mark Zuckerberg, get with the program. Bill Sandberg, put this company footing again. All right, I'm sure they will. We're in capable hands. They brought us this far. They'll weather the storm, right? I'd love Zuckerberg on Saturday Night Live. He was really kind of nailed you, Mark. All right, we have a similar situation. The October 29th low is safe, at least for now. But another day like that low will be history, which would be the weakness of the leaders of the NASDAQ 100, Apple, Amazon, Facebook. Possibly take out that October 29th low on the NASDAQ. It's possible the NASDAQ could be in a bear market and we can avoid a bear market on and the Dow. It is possible because of the influence on Apple and Facebook. But let's hope not. Let's hope the October holds. That would make me, it would make it is taken out. Even if it holds on the Dow and S&P, well, I don't know. With the tvix and call it a night. tvix, where are you? This is twice the ETF that follows VIX, and 11.23%. So effectively another percent. Good. This is a fair index. But let's try it. Going to low, skip it, and we will call it a night. All right. Oh, there it goes. So just about when I was going to give up. tvix, where are you? It's really not that important to look at. The point my point is that the volatility, why we lose 500 points on the Dow, that volatility. It really showing that big a move though. It's come back down off the recent high. I don't know. When I look at the tvix, I'm not that afraid. All right, let's stop screen sharing. Even though today would send shudders down my spine. All right, let's call it a night. I want to say sayonara. I want to say goodbye. I want to say hasta la vista. I want to say happy trading ahead. I want to say the rest of the week should be a lot better than Monday. I want to say where the heck is my picture? Don't you know I'm a narcissist? I want to see my. All right. If my face doesn't appear by the time I can say Jackie Robinson, if the camera doesn't go on, by the time I can say Jackie Robinson, then I'm going to have to say goodbye from Long Island, New York. See you next time.